SundayCinema.com.
Stream KOAM News now on the TV app, available for iOS and Android.
Right now at 6, authorities search for a suspected shooter after reports of gunfire in Frontenac.
And take a look at this beautiful sunrise from 7th and Rangeline. Clouds will be increasing, rain chances increasing. A look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
Plus, a state sick leave mandate may have taken effect earlier this month, but lawmakers are still working to possibly change it.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Elise Noe.
I'm Chris Warner. It's Tuesday. It's May the 6th, and we're now inching closer to the weekend. It's one day at a time. Everybody's working for the weekend.
And it'll be a really nice weekend this week.
Yeah,
we've got rain in between.
We got rain in between, but that's kind of the nice thing is traditionally, it rains on the weekend, and then while you're at work, the weather's pretty decent. 2 weekends in a row, it's going to be great.
Yeah,
it's going to be pretty fantastic. But we do have, as Lisa mentioned, rain on the way. Let's start with that live look downtown Pittsburgh. Get another great shot of the sunrise. Got a few clouds out there right now, but there will be a few more clouds as the morning progresses. MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline. Now, thanks to the sunrise, the clouds building in, getting some nice looking colors. Even though this is looking back to the west, got some nice looking colors out there on the Bel Air Center as we get this day started. We've still got some patchy fog up around the Iola and Yates Center area, so that's parts of 54 here. So again, low beams, not your high beams. And of course, watch out in some areas, especially rural routes, for potentially dense fog, denser than what may be reported at the reporting station there in Iola. The rest of us, though, doing pretty good. By noon, showers, thunderstorms knocking on our door, rolling into parts of Kansas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. And as the afternoon progresses, more showers and storms will continue to fill in across the region. Now, no severe weather is expected with this activity or any of the activity through Thursday, which is great news. However, we could get some thunderstorms, especially on Wednesday, that could produce some heavy rain at times. That could potentially lead to some localized flash flooding. So we definitely want to keep that in mind. Temperatures this morning a bit milder than yesterday, upper 40s, low 50s. Take a look, Bentonville, the warm spot down there at 55 this morning. So a pretty pleasant start to the day, and we'll have an even warmer start tomorrow, although will be a wetter start. Partly cloudy through the morning, 62 by 9, 70 by noon, low 70s for most of us for our highs, upper 60s by 6, and again, increasing shower and thunderstorm chances with that east breeze at around 5 to 10 miles an hour. As I mentioned, the rain does last at least through Thursday. And we also alluded to the fact we got another great weekend ahead of us. We'll go over all those details with you in the full forecast. That's coming up here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, we'll see you soon, Chris. Thanks. Well, a Crawford County judge yesterday sentences a man and woman for their roles in the fatal drug overdose of a teenager. The suspects are 39-year-old Tabitha Wilson of Pittsburgh and 47-year-old William Davis of Girard. Authorities say they had distributed fentanyl, which led to the death of 18-year-old Cooper Campidi. The teen was found unresponsive in his Frontenac home in April of last year. Wilson gets just over 5 years in prison for involuntary manslaughter and distribution of fentanyl. Davis gets nearly 4.5 years for distribution of fentanyl. Crawford County Attorney Reiner Proberg says fentanyl cases are increasing in the county, and her office will continue to prosecute cases like this. And authorities respond to a fatal crash yesterday in Chanute, Kansas. The crash happened on K-39 yesterday morning about 6. Troopers say a northbound vehicle and a southbound pickup truck collided head-on at the center line of the highway. The driver of the northbound vehicle, Teresa Phillips of Chanute, died at the scene. The driver of the truck suffered suspected serious injuries. She was transported to KU Medical Center in Kansas. Authorities are investigating reports of gunfire from a vehicle in Frontenac overnight. It happened around 10:15 Sunday night in the 800 block of North Cayuga Street. No injuries are reported. Now, the suspect's vehicle is described as a dark-colored Chevrolet Avalanche. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Frontenac Police Department. And of course, to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Well, a bill in Missouri would undo a voter-approved proposition supporting paid sick leave and minimum wage increases. Now, last week, Missouri began state-mandated accrual of paid sick leave, something voters approved in November, known as Prop A. But some state lawmakers hope to pass a bill that would change that law. Now, currently, employers with fewer than 15 workers must allow workers to earn at least 40 hours of sick leave per year. Now, for larger employers, it's at least 56 hours. Under the bill, the requirement would apply only to employers with 25 or more employees who work an average of at least 35 hours per week.
Our business community needs to hear that our elected leaders also stand with them and want to make sure that we are a state where businesses can flourish and are not forced to these high cost mandates.
You just wish that some of these folks in power would say, yep, you won this one, and then move on.
Well, the Missouri legislative session ends on May 16th. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News. The Transportation Department is set to announce a plan to transform the air traffic control system. Plus, President Trump is set to host the Prime Minister of Canada amid the growing trade war. And we have a warm and mostly cloudy day today. We'll have what to expect with Chris Warner in the Sky Watch Weather Center. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Nation Watch, get ready to say goodbye to convenience fees. You may remember a few months ago when the Federal Trade Commission announced it's cracking down on deceptive fees. Now that takes effect next Monday, and the agency released a FAQ outlining how it's going to work. Live event ticketing and short-term lodging sites will have to list their total prices more prominently than any other price. Now that means no more clicking through vacation home listings to find out how much the cleaning fee will be. Hotels also can't tack on resort fees not immediately reflected in the total price. Credit card fees won't be allowed to be added into a price later unless the business offers other ways to pay. And the big one, convenience fees. Businesses are instructed to describe exactly what fees are for and avoid phrases like convenience, service, or processing fees. Any such fee that is mandatory must be reflected in the total price. And the Department of Transportation is planning on revamping the air control system. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says the DOT will announce a plan Thursday that will transform air traffic control and remodel an outdated system. Now, Duffy says the plan will address issues that have contributed to days of delays at Newark International Airport. He also addressed the April 28th incident in which controllers at the facility that coordinates traffic for Newark lost communications with the planes under their control, prompting 5 controllers to take a leave for trauma. Now, the incident has compounded existing staffing shortages and equipment failures and contributed to frustrating hours-long delays for passengers. Well, home sellers have a choice when they begin the process of selling their home. Now, they can list it privately or publicly before sharing it on the multiple listing service or MLS. However, there's a battle over private listings, and it's become the latest fight about the ways homes are bought and sold in America. Leaders in the residential real estate industry argue the practice of listing privately is exclusionary and threatens to further chip away at consumer trust in real estate agents. Now, one large real estate brokerage in particular, Compass, is being accused of pushing sellers into private transactions. Now, critics say the private listing strategy unfairly pushes home sellers to make deals with buyers represented by other Compass agents, and it results in the brokerage collecting a commission from both sides of the transaction. Now, Compass denies accusations against its company and says it's simply a popular choice for sellers to choose to list their homes privately at first for discretion or to test the market. And this morning, President Trump is hosting the Prime Minister of Canada for high-stakes meetings with trade expected to be a big focus. Sunday, the president threatened new tariffs that insiders say could stifle the movie industry. Naomi Ruckham has more from New York as the Trump administration also escalates its fight against Harvard University.
Democrats. Today at the White House, President Trump meets for the first time with Canada's new Prime Minister, Mark Carney, amid his growing trade war.
I guess he wants to make a deal. Everybody does.
Canada, hit hard by U.S. tariffs, has slapped its own counter tariffs on billions of dollars of U.S. goods.
I will fight for the best deal for Canada and only accept the best deal for Canada.
Then there's the president's new threat to impose 100% tariffs on movies made outside of the U.S.
I'm not looking to hurt the industry. I want to help the industry.
White House officials say no final decisions have been made, but the announcement stunned Hollywood.
Everybody's very afraid, that's for sure. Everybody's very worried.
Also Monday, the Trump administration announced a program offering $1,000 and free airline tickets to undocumented migrants who want to voluntarily leave the U.S. Migrants must register through the Customs and Border Patrol app, and payment is given after the person has left.
If you leave on your own, you can take advantage of legal programs, come back.
Meanwhile, the Trump administration has upped its battle with Harvard University, cutting off new federal research grants unless the Ivy League school meets its demands. Harvard sued the federal government over a previous funding freeze. In a statement, Harvard said the administration's terms would impose unprecedented and improper control over the university. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News.
President Trump's goal of reopening Alcatraz, the notorious prison located in the San Francisco Bay, continues to court criticism. Experts say reopening the prison would cost millions of dollars, with improvements needed to bring the facility up to modern standards. Yesterday, California's Governor Gavin Newsom called the plan a, quote, colossally bad fiscal idea. And still to come, more Americans are battling depression now compared to 10 years ago. We'll see what's behind the surge. Plus, Chris Warner returns with another look at your Tuesday forecast. We'll be right back. The first Star Wars film debuted in 1977, and its influence is still being felt. Children at a Minnesota elementary school who were born decades after Luke, Han, Leia, and company first appeared on the big screen are still learning lessons from the legendary franchise. Sammy Salina reports.
Bus A! Bus A!
A long time ago, in a school not so far, far away.
That was a good trick.
Students have plenty of options for their after-school program.
Check.
Chess.
It's just like using your brain.
Art.
Are you satisfied and happy with your drawing?
Or
Next, ask if your fighters are ready.
trading to fight the Sith Lord.
Good versus bad with swords that can cut you in half.
Randolph Heights Elementary School offers lightsaber fencing through community education after school classes.
I get to hang out with my friends. Personally, I really like Star Wars.
I wanted to join it because it was the best out of everything else.
Yes.
You two are going to fight, and I'm going to ref over here.
Coach Walker,
Okay.
no relation to Skywalker, knows how it looks.
At first glance, it does seem like just a, beat 'em up sport.
But he says there's more to it.
One of the biggest things that we learn in this class is that self-restraint. Because you can't just go in there and, you need to know when to wait. You need to know when to strike.
Ready. Fence.
Braden Walker says his class is kind of like the movies themselves. Chaos on the surface,
All right.
with some deeper lessons.
It doesn't come down to Luke beating Vader with a lightsaber. And I think so much of Star Wars is about connection and about connecting to others. And I think that's why it's lasted so long.
Don't forget to tuck in masks.
Lessons they will take with them, not just force.
May the Force be with you.
Local officials say programs like this help with community building and boost the overall school. Now here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Yeah, we're taking a look outside with our camera at 7th and Rangeline Ian Joplin. Clouds increasing, but we've had a really beautiful sunrise this morning. Some very nice bright red colors out there earlier as well. But as I mentioned, clouds increasing. And that is because our shower and thunderstorm chances will be increasing. We'll take a full look at your forecast, talk about those rain chances, and how our weekend is shaping up here right after this. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 6:22 now on this Tuesday morning. And we're starting with the fog tracker. Again, our north central counties around Iola, even stretching back a little toward Yates Center. We do have some reduced visibility, some patchy fog out there. So low beams, not your high beams. Fog lights if you've got them. You know the drill. And of course, in the rural areas, do watch out. Low-lying areas, there might be some patchy, dense fog. But otherwise, visibilities are pretty good at the surface. Clouds, though, increasing. Skywatch storm tracker clear here. But take a look at these showers and storms continuing to push off to the northeast pretty quickly. Nothing severe. There were severe storms with this activity a little further to the south and west. You can see in north central Texas still one severe thunderstorm warning going, but these storms not expected to be severe as they push into our area this afternoon. So here we are in the future track by noon, just starting to creep into our area, but they will spread over our entire area as we head through the afternoon and into the evening hours. As I mentioned, the one good thing is while we have more rain chances to the rest of today, tonight, tomorrow night, and Thursday, we're not anticipating any severe weather with this activity. In fact, our biggest concern at this point with any of these thunderstorms is going to be the potential that some of them could produce heavy rainfall at times, which could lead to localized flash flooding. You can see future track painting a picture of some of those heavier thunderstorms out there. Again, nothing severe, but you could get some heavy rain, have some localized flash flooding. Scattered storms continue through the day on Wednesday into the overnight hours. Then as we head into our Thursday, these storms start to become a little more isolated to widely scattered. But we'll still see those thunderstorms. And as we head into the late afternoon and evening hours, we'll start to finally see this activity clear on out, leading into Friday, kicking off the start of a beautiful weekend. Speaking of things that are beautiful, take a look at that sunrise. The sun just right between these two trees here. We've had some beautiful colors this morning, but clouds continuing to increase. So partly cloudy through the first half of our morning, mid-50s by 8, pushing near 70 by 11 o'clock this morning with mostly cloudy skies. And then the showers, thunderstorms begin to increase in coverage through the afternoon. Highs today, though, will stop about the low 70s. There might even be some upper 60s in our northern counties, and our east winds at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. Taking a look down the road into tonight, scattered storms again through the evening. They'll become a little more widespread overnight, down to the low 60s by 10. But thanks to the cloud cover, it doesn't matter what time of the year it is, the cloud cover can keep warmer area in overnight. So we're going to be about milder, mid-upper 50s out there. Thunderstorms, of course, and that east breeze at around 5 to 10 miles an hour. Taking a look down the road, we have the shower and thunderstorm chances tomorrow into Thursday. They'll start to ease up late Thursday, and then by Friday looking great. Temperatures, though, drop during the daytime, a little cooler. In fact, below normal for Wednesday and Thursday, but our evenings at least staying somewhat mild. We head into this upcoming weekend, absolutely beautiful. I mentioned yesterday, did some rummage sailing this past weekend. Another great weekend to go out and find things you don't need, but absolutely need to have. And then as we head through most of next week, we start to warm up. We're talking low, maybe even some mid-80s in some cases. We're keeping an eye on another round of thunderstorms as we head toward the end of next week. That's check your forecast. We're going to send it over to Elise now with Health Watch.
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, a growing number of Americans are suffering from depression. A study in JAMA found while around 8% of people said they were depressed in 2013, the number in 2023 was higher than 12%. The biggest reasons are a worsening economy, increased social isolation, and healthcare disruptions that started during the COVID pandemic. And people who get vaccinated for shingles have a much lower risk of heart attack and stroke. A study in the European Heart Journal showed that shingles vaccine provides a 23% lower risk of cardiovascular disease that lasts for 8 years. Shingles is linked to a variety of heart problems. And teens with mental health issues experience social media differently than other young people. A study by the University of Cambridge found kids ages 11 to 19 with anxiety and depression not only spend more time on social media, they often compare themselves to others and experience changes in mood based on the amount of likes and comments they receive. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, social work students at Pitt State develop leadership skills while addressing community needs.
And we've had a pretty beautiful sunrise. More clouds building in across the area as we are watching more shower and thunderstorm chances building in as well. The latest in the forecast gets you out the door coming up.
Plus, the Missouri Treasurer shares information on state-sponsored education savings plans in Joplin.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:30. I'm Elise Noe.
I'm Chris Warner. It is Tuesday. It's May the 6th. I almost said March the 6th. We're not that
No,
far back. We are in May now.
Yes.
And of course, we had a great weekend.
It was
I know
beautiful.
yesterday I mentioned you hopefully got time to enjoy it. Yesterday was great as
Yeah.
well. Fantastic day. Today's starting off pretty decent. But the rain chances are going to build in, and they were going to. I'm going to hit this button a couple of times. Sometimes I forget to do that. There we go. We're going to start with that look outside downtown Pittsburgh. You can see the sunrise. You can also see the partly cloudy skies as clouds continue to increase across the area. MoDOT camera 20th and range line gives you a slightly better view of the clouds because, you know, it's not looking directly at the sun. But you can see still at this point, partly cloudy skies. Still have some patchy fog around the Iola area, slightly reduced visibilities around Yates Center. So again, low beams, not your high beams, and do watch out, especially in low-lying and rural areas, for some potentially patchy, dense fog as well. Outside of that, though, things looking pretty good this morning. By noon, showers, thunderstorms rolling into our region. No severe weather expected, which is fantastic news after the last month we had of severe weather across the area, but we will see showers and thunderstorms continuing across the region through the afternoon, evening, overnight, and into our Wednesday and Thursday as well across the region. Temperatures this morning a pinch milder than yesterday as we've got upper 40s and low 50s across the area. Neosho, Bentonville, the two warm spots it looks like, both at 54. Bentonville earlier made it up to 55 for a moment. So again, a much milder start for the day. It'll be even milder tomorrow. All right, through the day, 62 by 9, partly cloudy skies, 70 by noon, highs into the low 70s, maybe some upper 60s, and then back to the upper 60s by 6, increasing shower and thunderstorm chances, and those east winds at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. We'll have the rain continue, like I said, through at least Thursday. We'll talk about that and talk about this upcoming weekend as well here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. We'll see you soon. Well, Pitt State social work students are stepping up and giving back, showcasing a lineup of philanthropic projects aimed at making real change in their communities. Now, from foster care support to mental health advocacy, these students are addressing some of society's most pressing issues. Now, many say their projects have a personal connection to them or someone they love.
Collected carbon monoxide detectors, smoke detectors, and first aid kits. These are items that all foster homes need to have in order to become licensed foster homes.
The goal was to try to get as many people on campus by tabling to raise awareness and to get signatures to present to this legislative session.
And I then partnered with all these resources you see here to host an independent living fair.
Now, the professor says students gained valuable leadership skills while benefiting people in the Pittsburgh area. Missouri State Treasurer Vivek Malik made a stop in Joplin yesterday. Malik is on a tour throughout the state to spread awareness about the MO-ST 529 Education Savings Plan offered by the Treasurer's office. Yesterday, the Economic Security Corporation's Head Start program held an event for Malik to share the benefits of investing in an educational savings plan with Joplin residents.
A voluntary program, you can start it whenever you want, but the earlier you start, better it is for you, so that you have longer time period to save that money, put in that money, which grows over time. But there is no minimum set amount. You can start with $5. You can put in any amount of money.
The Head Start program seeks to provide financial literacy classes to parents focusing on budgeting. The Joplin Area Chamber of Commerce announces this year's winners of the Golden Apple Award. Now, the award recognizes teachers in the Joplin community. This year's winners came from a list of 52 teachers nominated by peers, students, and parents. This year's winners are Stephanie Lynch of Soaring Heights Elementary School, Aaron Geeting of McKinley Elementary School, and Landrum of New Heights Christian Academy, and Brad Douglas from Joplin High School. Now, all of the nominees and those who nominated them were recognized during a ceremony at Missouri Southern. And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Flower prices are rising as tariffs on imports could impact your bouquet. Plus, the IRS loses 1/3 of auditors, raising concerns over tax collection. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Consumer Watch this morning. Peak season is upon us for all things floral, Mother's Day, graduations, and weddings. And while the U.S. does grow some of its own flowers, now the bulk of blooms come from overseas and are subject to tariffs. Now there's concern that extra cost could wilt your budget. Michael George takes a look.
We get flowers from Ecuador, Colombia, Canada, Thailand, Holland.
Chances are the stems in your favorite bouquet have traveled, and these days that likely means a tariff.
We're going to do the best we can to sort of keep those prices where they need to be, but people can definitely expect to be paying a little bit more.
80% of flowers consumed in the United States are grown elsewhere. Last year, the U.S. imported $2.2 billion worth of cut flowers and greens, the bulk of it from South America.
The fact that they can grow year-round gave them a natural advantage.
Kate Penn is CEO of the Society of American Florists. She says domestically, small growers, many of them an acre or less, have flourished since the pandemic, selling at farmers markets and to a blossoming wedding industry.
The consumer does want to buy local, especially brides. They love to be able to have local flowers featured.
But even small growers like Moonshot Farm here in East Windsor, New Jersey, aren't immune to the fallout from tariffs.
The bulbs that we grow these from are imported from Italy and Holland.
Farmer Rebecca Kutzer-Rice says she just received her first few shipments to be hit with 10% tariffs.
We're estimating it could cost our small business anywhere from $40,000 to $50,000 a year, which for a small farm is almost the equivalent of like a salary of another employee.
Industry experts say consumers can still get what they want, just set a budget and let the florist work their magic.
There literally are countless substitutions, and florists are just masters at creating something that's still going to make a big impact.
A rosy outlook, even with the added cost of tariffs. Michael George, CBS News, East Windsor, New Jersey.
The Internal Revenue Service has lost about 1/3 of its auditors. A new report from a U.S. Treasury Department watchdog says around 3,600 auditors either took the Trump administration up on its deferred resignation program or were fired due to DOGE cuts. Experts say losing such a large number of auditors could impact the federal government's ability to collect tax revenue. Well, in a historic shoe deal, Skechers is being sold to private equity company 3G Capital for more than $9 billion. Now, Skechers currently has more than 5,000 retail stores, and the company says it earns around $9 billion annually. In a statement, Skechers said it believes the deal will help the company meet the needs of its consumers and enable long-term growth. And Bush's Beans is teaming up with Bluey, the BBC Studios global hit show about the lovable Australian blue heeler and her family. Bush's Bluey baked beans are gluten-free, fat-free, and vegetarian. Cans hit store shelves this month. Well, it could cost you more to repair your car. Another round of auto tariffs went into effect Saturday. This latest round impacts car parts. Jen Sullivan looks at how much more consumers could be paying.
Most car parts imported into the U.S. will now be hit with a 25% tariff. A CNN analysis found it could add an average of $4,000 per vehicle. Many in the auto industry are worried it could rock the entire car market.
We have to keep the vehicle affordable for Americans. That's the balancing act.
Even American-made Fords have some foreign parts, and those parts coming from other countries will be subject to the import tax. Last year, the U.S. imported over $197 billion in automotive parts from other countries, according to U.S. Automotive Aftermarket. President Donald Trump is hoping the tariffs entice automakers to open more plants in the U.S., creating more American jobs.
We have to look at whether these policies really change our competitors' commitment to America.
General Motors says the tariffs could cost the company between $4 to $5 billion this year. But the CEO says she doesn't expect those costs to fall on consumers in the near future.
Pricing is going to stay about at the same levels that it is.
This is the latest round of tariffs hitting the auto industry since Trump took office. Last month, the Trump administration implemented a 25% tariff on all cars imported into the U.S. And while consumers may not see prices go up right away, many experts warn that could change.
The tariffs have yet to really come into effect, and when they do, there's going to be a very different economic mood.
I'm Jen Sullivan reporting.
Says automakers assembling cars in the U.S. will be able to offset some of the tariffs equal to 3.75% of the manufacturer's suggested retail price for the year. That's a look at Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, we're starting the Skywatch Storm Tracker. You can see clouds beginning to increase across the area, and they will continue to do so through the morning ahead of showers and storms that are building in from the southwest. And you can see those here now into the Oklahoma City area. This is just the last 4 hours, so you can see they're moving at a pretty good speed, and they will eventually make their way into our area a little closer to noon. Now, if you've been watching these storms at all, there have been some severe thunderstorm warnings with this activity off to the south and west. Now, the good news is, again, we are not anticipating any severe weather in our area, which is good because we had our fair share last month. You can see those clouds from 7th and Range Line as they begin to fill the sky. We're going to break down your full forecast, talk about the rain chances, how long they're going to last, and our upcoming weekend. All right, it is time for some Tuesday birthdays here in the 4 states, and we are starting with Juju Courtney celebrating birthday number 18. It says, happy birthday, love Mom, Dylan, and Maya.
And in Nevada, a happy 19th birthday to Carolee Murphy. What an adorable throwback photo that is. Happy birthday.
And we've got Dale Lawrence. Man, I just need more coffee, Dale. I'm sorry, but Dale Lawrence having a birthday in Carthage, celebrating number 63. A very happy birthday to you.
And now it's time for Glenn. A happy birthday to Glenn Ashley, turning 72 today. It says here, happy birthday, Papa, from all of your grandkids.
And in Galena, Pansy Lunderman celebrating birthday number 93. Says, not a better mother, grandma, or sister around. That twinkle in her eye, it's orneriness. We love you so much.
And a happy birthday to Jaslyn Folk. It says, love Mom, Dad, Faith, and Zachary. Proud of her winning Kansas State Archery. Congratulations and happy birthday.
Indeed. And in Columbus, Elaine Reynolds celebrating another year wiser. Happy birthday.
And also in Columbus, a happy birthday to Julie Thomas.
And our list continues into Joplin with Mike Broadwater celebrating another year wiser. Happy birthday, Mike.
And last but not least, over in Uniontown, a happy birthday to Brenda Gleason.
All right, another great list of birthdays and anniversaries. I'm going to tell you right now, those notes that we got, those are fantastic. Those are the notes we like. We love celebrating these birthdays and anniversaries with you. And if you would like to do that, Elise has information you need to know.
Yes, please submit those birthdays and anniversaries to birthdays@KOAMnewsnow.com. As Chris mentioned, be sure to include those wonderful message, also those wonderful photos, and to meet the deadline that you see there at the bottom of your screen, and to also please include the date of your celebration as well.
Very important information, of course. All right, let's take a little look outside. Starting downtown Pittsburgh, 4th and Broadway, our camera there, it's looking back to the east, of course. We got the sunrise, we've got some clouds, we've got some sky, getting that mix of partly to mostly cloudy skies across the area, and these clouds will increase as we see our shower and thunderstorm chances increase. MoDOT camera 20th and Range Line, looking back to the west-northwest. Looking pretty good, but you can see we've got some of those clouds out there as well as we get this Tuesday underway. We also have been dealing with patchy fog all morning around Iola. Now your visibility's dropped almost another mile down to 4.7, and that's also got some reduced visibilities in the Yates Center, so a stretch of 54 just to the west of Fort Scott. And of course, any of the rural or low-lying roadways out there, you want to watch out for that possibility of some patchy, dense fog this morning. Skywatch Storm Tracker in our area, this is just virga. It's just that ground clutter stuff. It's not actually any kind of precipitation. However, that is not just ground clutter or false radar echoes, and if it is, the radar is very specific right now about what it's messing up on. We are looking at showers and storms. Over the last 4 hours, they've made it from the Red River all the way up to Oklahoma City. They will continue to lift off to the north and east and eventually begin to impact us as we head into the afternoon. Now, I want to emphasize, because I know there's some weather folks like me. I mean, I got into weather because I was a weather enthusiast. I was scared of storms as a kid. Thought, well, if I learn about the weather, I won't be as frightened by them. So you're probably looking at stuff. If you're a weather enthusiast, you're seeing these severe thunderstorm warnings across parts of Texas, stretching into north central Texas. Yes, those are some strong to severe thunderstorms. No, we are not anticipating strong to severe thunderstorms in our area. We don't have the right air mass in place to support severe thunderstorm development. Down south, yes, they do. But as these creep closer to us, they're going to lose some of that strength. We'll still get thunderstorms. We'll still have that possibility of heavy rain, but we are not looking at a threat for severe weather once these storms cross the river and make it up into our neck of the woods. Future track by noon. Scattered showers out there starting to push in, and they will continue to spread across the entire region. And we'll have those showers and thunderstorms out there. As I mentioned, I just want to emphasize, because I know April was an extraordinarily long and rough month for many folks across the 4 states. We're not anticipating severe weather with this activity. We have the showers, we have the storms, and yes, they're going to last a few days, but not expecting severe weather, which is a great break from just the chaos we had last month. Just intense severe weather. Three major events in a short period of time, all of them with tornadic warnings, at least tornado warnings, and some confirmed tornadoes. Not the case with this. By this evening, shower storms continue. Overnight, shower storms continue. You can see they're also scattered. You may get pauses in the rain overnight. Wednesday, though, is when we're going to see a slightly more widespread shower and thunderstorm activity. And some of these storms, you can see on future track by the noon hour, they look severe. They're not. It's just very heavy rain. And so that leads to the concern, at least with some of the storms, for the potential for localized flash flooding. At this point, we're not looking at a widespread flooding concern, but some of these storms could produce some heavy rain, could lead to some localized flash flooding. So you definitely want to keep that in mind over the next couple of days. Scattered shower storms continue through Wednesday evening into our Thursday. As we go late through the day on Thursday, we'll start to see these storms wrapping up. And by Thursday late evening, we should see the last of them on their way out of here. And we'll start to clear out as we go overnight Thursday into our Friday. Getting our day started mid-50s by 8 o'clock. And like you're seeing now, those partly cloudy skies for some. Others, of course, a little further southwest, closer to the rain, they're probably going to be mostly cloudy. They will make it eventually almost 70 by 11 o'clock this morning with mostly cloudy skies across the area. We'll have another full look at your forecast here in just a moment, as well as the news you need to know. And we switch over to Fox 14 at 7 a.m. Or if you hang out with us here on KOAM+, we'll tell you about new graduates that are having a hard time finding a job right out of college. And we'll also have a few tips to help your resume stand out.
And here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Authorities respond to a fatal crash in Chanute, Kansas yesterday morning. The crash happened on K39 about 6 a.m. Troopers say a vehicle collided head-on with a pickup truck at the center line of the highway. Teresa Phillips of Chanute died at the scene. The driver of the truck suffered serious injuries. She was transported to KU Med Center in Kansas City. Authorities are investigating reports of gunfire from a vehicle in Frontenac overnight. Now, it happened around 10:15 Sunday night in the 800 block of North Cayuga Street. The suspect's vehicle is described as a dark-colored Chevrolet Avalanche. Anyone with information is asked to contact the Frontenac Police Department. And a Crawford County judge sentences William Davis and Tabitha Wilson for their roles in the fatal drug overdose of a teenager. Authorities say they had distributed fentanyl, which led to the death of 18-year-old Cooper Campidi. Wilson gets just over 5 years in prison for involuntary manslaughter and distribution of fentanyl. Davis gets nearly 4.5 years for distribution of fentanyl. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
And as you head out the door, again, cloudy skies to start. Partly cloudy skies initially. Showers, thunderstorms increasing as we head through the afternoon. No severe weather expected. Highs today, low 70s, maybe some upper 60s. East winds 5 to 10. Showers, thunderstorms continue overnight. A few more of them overnight, but again, no severe weather. Mid to upper 50s, so slightly milder overnight as well. As we head into tomorrow, well, if you were guessing rain, You'd be right. More scattered showers, thunderstorms as we head into our Wednesday. Again, no severe weather expected, but some of those storms could produce heavy rain, which could lead to localized flash flooding concerns. Showers and storms should wrap up by Thursday evening across the area, leading into an absolutely fantastic weekend. Sunny skies, low to mid 70s.
Way into Wednesday. That looks fantastic.
That is going to be great.
Wow. Well, coming up today at noon, we're making croissant bread pudding in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, Jasmine Kyle joins us in the studio, and she wants to introduce us to a new furry friend.
And Charlene Patton shows us a quick and easy salad recipe. However, it's going to wrap it up for us for now. If you didn't get to do rummage sailing last weekend, you really should.
Great weekend.
I get stuff. This last weekend is one of the rare times I actually bought things that were useful. But you never know when you might need those other things, right? We'll see you back here tomorrow morning, bright and early at 5 a.m.
And we'll, of course, see you today at noon.